Hello there, warriors and weirdos. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sohum, and I'm on a mission to spread peace, love, and positivity through music. Today, we're actually not going to be listening to much music. We're going to be hearing Aurora in various interviews over her life, and we're actually going to be going in reverse chronological order. So I believe these interviews span about 5 years, with the most recent being 3 years ago, then 5, then 8. So we're going to be seeing her getting younger over the course of this one, which should be interesting. It'll be nice to, well, first and foremost, hear her thoughts on pretty much anything, but in reverse order, which presumably, if you're younger, you're less mature, but Aurora already has all of the wisdom of like a 90-year-old. So yeah, we'll see how these go. I'm excited to check them out as always. But before we do, thank you, Conrad the Hypnotic, for making this donation request. Thank you for dedicating this to me and all of the other warriors and weirdos out there. It is much appreciated. Now, let's just quickly jump in.
Aurora, welcome back to Triple J.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How are you? I saw on TikTok a couple of days ago that you were hiding in a forest. Are you still hiding in a forest?
No, not at the moment, but I have been hiding for quite some time. And I've just been, talking with the squirrels and hugging the trees and doing all of those things. It's been very lovely. And I've also had a lot of wine. It's been a very good combination between like healing and poison. But now I'm back to the mainland.
I feel like the only time I've ever talked to squirrels has also been after some wine.
Yes, of course.
Oh my God.
Apart from...
On my university's campus, there was an Instagram page for all of the different squirrels that people would cite. I forgot the actual name, but there were so many squirrels, and a lot of them would be very big, and honestly, they would be very entitled. So they would just kind of like walk in front of your path and just block you. Squirrels are crazy, man.
Music, how have you been entertaining yourself recently, Aurora?
Oh, well, the same things as always. I'm very good at entertaining myself. I find myself very entertaining. I've just been
Cheers.
painting and existing in my home, eating a lot of food, a lot of delicious food, and drying things. I've become an expert, if I must say.
Like
of
drying what
drying-
sorts of things? Like flowers or fruit or...
Yes, both flowers, fruit, and bugs.
Bugs?
And
Oh.
I'm very good at it. So
This is like where you put the flowers in paper and then kind of press it down, and then weeks later you remove it. It's very dry, but it can last the test of time. I think that's what she's talking about.
that's been a very splendid hobby.
Is that
to
a
have.
hobby that you learned as a kid or something, or is this something you've just learned recently?
Well, I learned, or I guess I feel like it's a thing I've always known deep in my heart. Drying things. Like,
I just put them in the sun.
but-
Hard, good to me. Yeah.
yes, yes.
I
But
do.
I started
She's so
doing
giggly.
it lately.
All
It's
right.
a new hobby.
Yeah, I'm always impressed with every time I check in with your socials or anything, that how your ability to not only entertain yourself but also find joy in small things. I the other day I saw you were just talking about how much you loved carrots.
Yes,
And I was just like, that's so great.
I love them.
Like,
I
what do you love
dressed
about?
up like one today.
You actually have. What do you love about carrots so much?
Well, obviously, besides the fact that they're orange, I love the sound they make, and
Yeah.
I love their
That was an
taste.
incredible carrot impression you just did.
It was bang on.
People listening at home would not be
Thank
able to
you.
know this, but you don't have a carrot. You just did that with your mouth. That was
Yes.
really impressive.
One of my many mouth talents. No, I just love carrots. They're fresh, and there is something about them that never fails to cheer me up. Yes.
Gotta find the joy in the little things.
That's beautiful. But on to music. Apart from obviously drying bugs, hugging trees, chatting to squirrels, all amazing
Yeah.
stuff, and we could talk about those forever, frankly. But there is a new song called "Give In to the Love," which we're going to put on in just a second.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit about where this started for you?
Well, I was thinking one day, as you do, and I was thinking a lot about what is it called again? The the third Alien movie. What is it called?
Prometheus?
Yes, thank you. I was
Did you
thinking
watch
about
that?
Prometheus. Not
The
the
movie or
of course.
the myth?
The myth.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm very interested
Because I only saw the movie. I never knew the myth beforehand.
in mythology. I just think it's the most fantastic thing ever. And I was thinking about Prometheus and how he supposedly made mankind in clay, and how he stole the fire from the gods to kind of make us alive and complete us, I guess. And I was thinking about this clay and how much we obsess with the looks of this clay that kind of means nothing, um, and how it seems to distract us from the value of, I guess, the fire that we keep inside. And that's very sad. I think the world today makes a lot of people very unhappy because we obsess with these strange things like how we look. So many people base their whole worth on how they look, and they never feel like they look beautiful enough. And I find this obsession with beauty both very fascinating and very scary at the same time. So it's kind of about that. I guess clay, no. Fire, yes.
She got so deep so quickly. Because that is so true. A lot of our focus is on the packaging rather than the substance. It's kind of like marketing as a profession. Oftentimes, they're just selling want where there wasn't any because they know that the core of their product isn't actually important for you to have. There's no substance to it. There's no fire. It is all just clay. And I can distract you because the human mind is very impressionable, very malleable, and prone to nudging. And with enough nudges over time, you've boiled the frog. It becomes commonplace to then focus on the clay rather than the fire. And, if you span this across generations, then nobody knows about the actual fire and its benefit. We lose, is it that quote, the forest for the trees? This is something I'm also guilty of in different ways in my life because I focus too much on one particular aspect of me, and then I lose sight of but I'm a human. I can just treat myself kindly and move on with my day rather than fixate on these little idiosyncratic moments that don't actually matter, and I'll forget about them literally the next day. It's foolish. I love her dialogue here.
Scary at the same time. So it's kind of about that. I guess clay, no. Fire, yes.
Wonderful.
A perfect assessment.
Aurora, you were just saying that song was kind of inspired by the myth of Prometheus. So you were saying stole fire from the gods to give to mankind. Have you ever stolen something? Are you much of a thief?
Well, I guess I have. I've enjoyed a bit of picnicking my whole life. I love
Picnicking.
stealing flowers from other people's gardens.
Did you say
and I also,
pitnicking? What's pitnicking?
Oh,
Glad
is
he
it
asked.
not a word? I thought it was like your word. You did this.
My business. I don't want to. Frankly, it's adorable. So I would love to take responsibility for it, but I don't know if that is ours. Nitpicking? No.
Okay. Picnicking?
Pitnicking. If you were to define lip picking?
Picnicking? Picnic? No.
Nitpicking is
if I was to define
pointing out
nitpicking,
details, right?
I would say it's about stealing one of each. Not a lot. So not like a bunch, but you steal one thing.
Okay.
Like stealing one gum, one child, one flower. It's like a tiny thief theft.
Yeah, because nitpicking
yes.
is a word, but it doesn't mean that. But frankly, it should.
Care.
It does now.
It's a better definition.
Yeah.
Yes, call the police and tell them that it should become a word.
We're adding an adorable new
Merriam-Webster's
crime, police. You've also been, you've had such a wild few years of things blowing up including, it's often interesting when a song finds a new life on TikTok. And your song "Runaway" has found a life on TikTok. This part in particular, people on TikTok might recognize
Yeah.
it.
And I was running far
Yes, this is where I first heard this.
While someday nobody knows, nobody knows.
To have 500,000 people making videos with this song around the world, it must have been so incredible. Were there any that stood out to you?
Well, I think all the videos that I could see were made like from countries on the other side of the world hit me in quite a magical way. And I was very moved, I guess, by people allowing my song into their hearts I know it was a hard time when that song kind of lived its best teenage life out there.
The thing about it too, which I like almost in retrospect fully regret, is the fact that I heard that 15-second clip of Runaway and I never bothered to look any deeper. And I should have, right? You're saying, Sohum, why didn't you actually check out the artist? Because with TikTok, I had a very weird relationship with TikTok. I've like downloaded it on and off over the years, and then in the end, I'm sitting here 6 months deleted TikTok. It feels almost like an addiction, right? That's what these social media algorithms are up to, by the way, without explicitly stating it. But regardless, I would hear some of these like TikTok songs go viral, and that's kind of how it was for me, TikTok songs, because the way that short form content works in the algorithm is far different than long form. And as you guys very well may know, the attention economy is booming these days, and people's attention spans are getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So all I have is like a 15-second clip of this song, and I've seen many TikTok songs go viral for their 15 seconds, and I was not impressed by the full length version of a song. So then I just at some point stopped researching the 15-second songs that would go viral. And I should have looked deeper for Runaway by Aurora. But we made it. We made it where we belong.
Its best teenage life out there. I felt like people maybe needed a song like that, which is very touching and it's very brave to let anything into your heart and touch it. So I felt very touched by it. But yeah, it was nice also to see people kind of uniting during during such a separated time, and seeing them keep themselves busy with this trend thing, isolated in their rooms. It's a very touching thing, but also it's very absurd. So I also kind of don't care so much.
Yeah. There's just such a wide array of different types of TikToks people have made involving it. Sometimes people are doing acrobatics. Sometimes they're just, I'm singing in their room. I saw one man walking his pet tiger to the song in a beautiful, wonderful backdrop. There's a lot going on with that song, and it feels like I guess if you write a song, there's no way you could imagine that it could mean so many different things to so many different people.
Oh no, not at all. And I wrote this when I was like 11. I was so young then. I didn't even know what nitpicking meant. No, I was very young when I wrote it, and it's very surreal. But I guess it makes sense also, because whatever comes from an authentic place on the inside will hit authentic places on the outside for other people. Or I guess, it just makes sense, like in the balance of the universe and the whole existence of everything forever.
Of course.
And ever.
Yeah.
Well, obviously that's a very old song still doing well, and now there's this brand new one. But are you working on an album at the moment, Aurora?
Yes, sir, I am indeed. I have been working on an album, as we all have, I think. I think every single artist have, because we have finally been. Yes, you have. We all have. But it's yes, I have, and it's been wonderful. I rented this, or like I stayed in a little castle, here in Norway, in for like a month,
Because
and I
she's a
just made the
literal
whole thing.
princess, a
It was
fairy.
a very nice thing. Also, a lot of wine and squirrels included, in a completely platonic way, of course, not
My God.
misunderstand.
Romantic
But
date with a
yes,
squirrel.
of course. Yes, it was really, it was a beautiful adventure, and I made this album asking a lot of questions, I think. Not really claiming that I have any answers, but I'm asking.
One thing, I just love how joyous and carefree she always is. That energy is so rare. It's why we love her, among all of the reasons why we love her.
It was really, it was a beautiful adventure, and I made this album asking a lot of questions, I think. Not really claiming that I have any answers, but I'm asking a lot of, I think, important questions about, you know, this one little tiny life we have been given, and whether we spend it in the right way.
Did you, when you're making an album in a castle, did you know anything about the castle or the history of it before you booked it? Do you know what happened there, or was it a famous castle? I know nothing about anything, so I don't know anything about castles.
And nothing about anything.
Well, sorry,
Well,
I meant with regards to Norwegian castles. Sorry, yes.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's much better. Well, it is a very small castle, and I kind of know the people that keep it like, keep it warm, I guess.
Hmm.
Yes, and I was allowed to stay there. I asked them, and they said yes. They said I do, and it was just lovely. It's like, you have to jump on a boat, or you can technically walk, of course. But I like to jump because there's a little space between like land and the boat. So I
Okay.
jump on the boat, and it takes 2 hours, and then you arrive in this beautiful little place called Rosendale, and there are many like huge mountains there, and they all kind of bend over the little village like they're kind of taking care of it. And the castle is like 500 years old,
God.
400 years old.
I just love the way she describes things, right? It's so vivid, but in a very uniquely Aurora way. Like that little hop she does, the way the mountains are hugging the village. Great descriptor.
400. And it was owned a long time ago by a French baron who was very interested in arts and the healing, possibilities of music. So that's why I went there. It just felt right.
Wow. Are they good acoustics in a castle?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Good to know. Because we're obviously working on our album as well.
Yeah,
And
we'll
we're
have to
just-
find a
Yes.
castle here in Australia to record it in, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think there's like a
Australia.
macadamia castle in northern New South Wales. Anyway, we'll look into it. Yeah.
Look into it.
But Aurora, you're also doing a huge tour around Europe next year. Do you have any thoughts about maybe being able to come to Australia if things are allowed in next year?
Well, yes, I hope. I love being in Australia. I always feel so alive there. And I love the bats. And I also love the people. You're so freaking friendly. And it's so nice.
It's telling,
so
though, that
nice.
you
I
love-
love Australia.
When you were listing
Yeah.
the things you love, it went bats first and then people. So, it's...
Yes, it would be weird
Can confirm every Australian I've ever met has been super friendly, super crass, but also super friendly.
otherwise.
Are there no bats in Norway?
We have them, I think, but they're very small. And they're not as impressive. Like, they have no confidence.
These insecure Norwegian bats. The poor bats in Norway.
Very arrogant bats. Well, it would be a pleasure. Hopefully, we will get to see you in the country really soon, and
Yes,
hopefully
I
get
hope
to.
so.
Yeah, we'd love to hear more from this album as well. For the meantime, Aurora, such a pleasure as always. We'll chat to you again soon.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Bless you all.
I mean, Aurora is just the best. I love getting to hear her quirky thoughts, and she always brings things up that you just don't expect, but also, as we noted, she gets very deep very quickly it's very profound what she says, but she says it so simply that it just hits harder, right? For me, I'm like a person, I love good idioms, I love amazing quotes. Some of the best quotes that are out there are short and sweet, just right to the point. She has this like joyous element on top of it, which just makes everything like, oh yeah, of course it's that conclusion. I'm so happy even thinking about it. It's just all very bright. Leave it to Aurora, man. Just even talking, I just feel like I'm a better person. Let's check out the next interview. This is Lindmo.
Vi har flere store stjerner på besøk her I kveld. Aurora Aksnes en av våre aller største internasjonale popstjerner. Og I kveld så hun her sammen med to av sine aller viktigste samarbeidspartnere, nemlig storesøstrene Victoria og Miranda, som henholdsvis fast sminkør og kostymedesigner for Aurora. De på vei inn, men først så skal dere få se noen glimt av det de tre søstrene har skapt sammen.
Queendom come.
Her Victoria, Miranda og Aurora.
You know that quote, like, we made the right people famous? Aurora is the right person.
Velkommen hit. Her har vi altså søstrene dine, Miranda og Victoria. Aurora, utrolig koselig å ha dere her, alle tre.
Å, det veldig kjekt.
Kan ikke du si hva disse storesøstrene dine betyr for deg? Hvor viktig det for deg å ha dem I livet ditt?
Det livsviktig. Jeg tror det det beste som har skjedd I mitt liv, at mamma og pappa skapte Miranda og Vicky. At de finnes. Vi jo bestevenner, og vi gjør alt I lag, og jeg får så mye kjærlighet fra de og støtte. Og ikke minst inspirasjon. De så inspirerende bare som mennesker å prate med og være med. Og så det... Jeg tror jeg har lært veldig mye om hva styrke for eksempel, av de to. Vi har ting vi har gått gjennom som familie, sånn som alle familier gjør. Og ting de har klart seg gjennom. Da. De noen av de mest sterke menneskene jeg vet, og jeg har fått veldig styrke definert av de.
Og så lager dere også helt konkrete ting sammen, som jo litt spesielt for en søskenflokk, fordi dere har hobbyverksted. Når du skal ha nye antrekk, for eksempel til Oscar, hvor du skulle være med å gjøre Frost-sangen, så det da akutt behov. Må ha kostymer. Hvordan det dere gjør det da, Victoria? Når det plutselig behov for antrekk, hva slags verksted det som iverksettes?
Det var faktisk veldig likt sånn som det alltid når Aurora skal ha et eller annet, musikkvideo eller fotoshoot.
It's kind of like a very jarring jump, no? Like talking about like how much Aurora loves her sisters and gets strength from them, and then the next question is like, so what's it like being the costume designer? This feels a little bit like, what? Was that the next question?
Veldig likt sånn som det alltid når Aurora skal ha et eller annet, musikkvideo eller fotoshoot.
My opinion.
Det skjer rett før. Nå var det 2 uker før. Ja, by the way, jeg skal opptre på Oscars, og da trenger jeg 2 antrekk. Så jeg bare... herregud, så kult, liksom. Hvor tid det? 2 uker. Så jeg bare... Ja, men det får vi til.
Ja.
Og så det å få henne dit I studio, sette seg ned, litt god mat, litt te, dra fram litt sånn stoff som vi har liggende, tegnesaker. Hun rote til hele studioet mitt. Drar fram. Hun har jo vært rundt i hele verden, sant? Selvfølgelig, som hun alltid er, og kjøper på bånd og altså ja, dere har jo sett henne. Han kjøper med seg så mye sånn...
For hun skrotnisse, hun samler.
Ja.
Order.
Jeg er ikke det. Vi er ikke det. Skal ikke ha det på oss, bare som det er.
Nei, ok.
Det er hun rotete. Og liksom, kan vi gjøre noe med dette, og kan vi gjøre noe med dette, så er jeg sånn, kan vi sette oss ned og begynne å tegne først. Og da tegner begge to mens vi snakker. Hun sier litt hva hun vil ha. Jeg foreslår og sier at det kommer ikke til å funke. Hva med dette? Og så finner vi ut av det til slutt, og så handler vi det vi mangler.
Og så syr du og lager. Ja. Og så er det du, Miranda, som sørger for sminken. Hvorfor er det vanskelig at noen andre skulle gjort det, Aurora?
Det verste jeg vet, utenom selvfølgelig åpenbare ting, det er å bli tatt på i fjeset. Det så hater jeg. Jeg synes det er helt forferdelig. For meg har det vært livsviktig at det er Miranda som legger på sminke.
Ja. Det er veldig intimt.
Ja, det er veldig intimt, og jeg sliter litt med det. Så det er kjempeviktig.
Hva gjør du da? Hvordan sminker du Aurora for at hun skal bli Aurora?
Jo, det er jo... Hun har jo aldri likt å ha masse sminke på seg, først og fremst. Og det er veldig viktig at hun får være seg selv oppi alt. Og... Jeg var jo nyutdannet når hun begynte, og da er det jo veldig lett for at man har lyst til å legge på litt ekstra, eller vise hva man kan, og ja. Men jeg skjønte jo fort at det var jo ikke det jeg skulle her. Det var jo det å få deg fram, og du skulle være deg selv.
Som er veldig spesielt, for det er veldig sjeldent å finne, som altså veldig ung artist, noen som virkelig hører, spesielt i make-up-bransjen. Så du er som mye rom der til å vokse og finne ut av ting.
Så var det jo, i stedet for å ha denne skjønnhet, at vi fokuserte på det, så fokuserte vi mer på det kunstneriske, så gikk vi litt mot det da. Og det har vi jo på en måte skapt sammen. Så, og du har jo alltid vært veldig...
It's interesting because like I've heard about this also in the context of some Western artists as well who are made up in ways that they don't prefer. They're wearing costumes or outfits that are meant for eyeballs rather than their own expression or their own comfort. And I'm really glad, I mean, Aurora is able to work with her sisters, but I'm glad she's still making those decisions for her own mental well-being, because it can be very off-putting as an individual to misrepresent yourself in these ways that feel like maybe they actually like the made-up version of me rather than the raw, real, authentic version of me. The same thing could be said about costumes that don't fit your identity. And there's many studies on how our identities are shaped even or are represented even by our fashion. And for somebody else to dictate those choices rather than you, it's like I'm wearing this costume rather than I'm actually letting myself flourish. So I'm really glad that she's making these choices for herself.
Fokuserte vi mer på det kunstneriske, så gikk vi litt mot det da. Og det har vi jo på en måte skapt sammen. Så, og du har jo alltid vært veldig opptatt av kroppsmaling og det mot det urmennesket, og ja. Så da lagde vi begynte jo med de prikkene. Så ble det jo disse strekene etter hvert.
Nå har vi prikker og streker. Hva sa du?
Dere har jo kjent Aurora hele livet. Og så er dere en god del år eldre enn henne. Hva slags liten jente var Aurora? Du som er da store søstre. Hvordan var hun?
Hun hadde veldig mye energi og var veldig sprudlende. Veldig sånn, hun likte å være ute masse, og litt sånn guttejente egentlig. Lekte masse ute i skogen. Hun kunne være vekke i mange timer og leke.
Men hvor var hun? Altså, hvis dere lette etter Aurora, hvor var hun hen da?
I skogen.
I skogen?
Ja. Og mamma de hadde en sånn bjelle utenfor døra. Så de ringte henne sånn seriøst hjem. Som en liksom ku eller et eller annet dyr. Så
Jeg var en ku når jeg var liten. Ja, men vi har en stor sånn, eller ikke en stor, men en stor.
Han er ganske stor.
bjelle.
Ja.
Liten i forhold til en kirkeklokke, men stor i forhold til en liten bjelle.
Ja, jeg skjønner.
Og så ringte de ringte meg inn, for jeg var av og til helt til kveldsmat
Ja.
ute i skogen.
Ja, som man ofte gjør med sauene til kvelden, og koselig.
Ja,
Så er det kanskje ikke ku.
Ja.
To summon her
ja
literally.
så det var meg og sauene da som sprang inn. Visste jo den.
Men Miranda, jeg lurer på, når skjønte du at hun hadde musikk i seg?
Egentlig når vi var vel på en sånn var det ikke når vi var på sydentur? Hun begynte I hvert fall å hun sang, hun lærte seg, vi var vel I Hellas, og så lærte hun seg en sang på gresk, og så sang hun hver eneste restaurant vi var på, så sang hun. Og hun hadde så fin stemme, og alle ble helt sånn, de bare liksom stoppet opp og hørte på at du sang da. Og da var det I hvert fall stemmen som var veldig I fokus. Men
Even
det
at
var
that young
vel
age.
når du var sånn 12 år, 11-12. Så når jeg hørte deg, din egen musikk da. Ja.
Og så, ganske ung, så oppdaga jo folk rundt at du lagde musikk og ville gjerne vise fram deg og den musikken til andre. Hvordan var det da Aurora fortsatt I tenåra plutselig var del av musikkbransjen og ble en sånn man snakket om og var et sånn stjerneskudd ganske tidlig?
Det var veldig... Og jeg skulle til å si rart, men det var egentlig ikke rart, for vi visste jo at du var flink.
Ja, vi visste det.
Jeg husker veldig godt, for det var Bylarm. Hvor var det da? 2005? 14, herregud. Og en var jo det at jeg følte ikke at jeg egentlig hadde sett Aurora så mye de siste 3 årene når jeg hadde studert. Og plutselig se henne I liksom I full blomst da, følte jeg at dette var det Aurora skulle drive med. Det var ikke rart. Det falt liksom på plass hvem du hadde blitt de årene jeg hadde vært vekke.
Veldig ung, så vi var jo bekymret for liksom hvordan dette skulle bli der, for vi skjønte jo at du kom til å bli stor en dag, det visste vi. Og så visste vi jo at du var veldig spesiell, og du kom til å stå på det og ikke forandre deg, for du vet liksom, du visste allerede da hvem du ville være, og at du også liksom, ingen kunne liksom komme inn og si hvordan du skulle være.
It was like inevitable
Og det var
for
jo
her.
litt sånn, hvordan ville også folk ta imot deg, ja, både I bransje, og hvordan vil de forstå deg, vil de forstå deg. Ja.
Ble du bekymret av det?
They're definitely very like caring and protective sisters because they knew she was capable and they knew that because the success was already there, I mean, it was likely to be inevitable anyways, given how talented she was. So they're almost like weathering the storm of what does fame look like? How will others perceive Aurora? And then how will that dynamic ecosystem of Aurora and the rest of the world play out? And from the outside looking in, it definitely seems like Aurora has maintained her bubble, has maintained who she is. She hasn't been influenced for the worse by a lot of the crazy structures and things that can be said online and anywhere. It seems like she has been able to, again, weather that storm. And that is my assumption here. Of course, maybe it comes out that, you know, Aurora is being affected a lot by the things that are out there, but that's what it looks like to me. It seems like she has managed to, I guess, dance that dance very well.
Ja, litt.
Hvorfor det?
It's hard
Det
to be
er
a public
bare fordi
figure.
Vi ville beskytte deg, og at det er jo så mye så motgang man kan få, så ja.
Når man litt annerledes.
Ja, når man litt annerledes. Så.
Ja.
Jeg tror vi alltid har hatt den bekymringen, for at hun har alltid kledd seg rart. Det er ikke en ny greie. Så vi hadde jo, jeg tror nesten vi hadde en liten samtale med henne, eller om mamma de, eller et eller annet, når du var, liksom, gikk på barneskolen. Hun var så redd for at du skulle bli mobba på grunn av klærne på et tidspunkt. For det
but she always maintained who she
ble veldig
was.
rart innimellom.
Nå har det jo gått veldig bra med Aurora. Hvordan er det som storesøstre å se hva hun har blitt og hvor hun er i dag, Victoria?
Jeg synes veldig mye er ganske naturlig, for jeg synes jo hun er fantastisk.
Og nå da,
Det er litt sånn-
er det stolt av
Når
henne?
Oscar skjedde, da var jeg litt sånn, ok, nå er vi I min verden. Dette forstår jeg hvor stort det er, for det er liksom sånn, jeg vet jo ikke om sånne musikkpriser, og jeg vet ikke hvor stort det er. Men nå var jeg litt sånn, ok, fashion. Dette er gøy. Så det var kanskje den første gangen jeg kjente virkelig at det kriblet i magen. For alt annet er sånn, ja, men selvfølgelig. Selvfølgelig, liksom. Du er jo fantastisk. Så du imponerer meg ikke. Neida. Ja, men jeg er så imponert fra før. Ja.
Aurora,
I just love that they speak so highly of her. These are the kinds of people you want in your corner. True support, true family.
siden du er en stolt feminist, så tenkte jeg du skulle få bli med videre og møte den neste gjesten, for hun er absolutt en søster i ånden. Men da vil jeg bare si tusen takk til Miranda og Victoria for denne nydelige attesten om søsterkjærlighet. Takk skal dere ha.
That's cool. Yeah, I like them bringing the sisters on and explaining their association, how they feel about Aurora, what it was like growing up. I mean, you want family on your side, and this is the most supportive family you could ever find. I love that they're just there. They are her cheerleaders, giving her all of that strength and support. Anything that the world throws at you, it won't matter when you have that level of fandom behind you in the form of your blood. Yeah, no wonder she's so grounded. Jesus. Let's check out the last interview of the set today. This is actually now 8 years ago, at least released on YouTube here. So this is the youngest iteration of Aurora we're viewing today. Let's check it out.
This is Aurora, and you're watching Stingray Pause Play.
I am the Zach Monson. Welcome back to a very special edition of Stingray Pause Play here with Aurora.
Hey.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
I'm very good as well. Thanks for not asking, but I'll just assume that you were.
Spiritually, I was.
Spiritually, I could tell by the way you're looking at me, you're wondering how I was doing. Okay, I feel less good than I did before. You started writing melodies when you were 6 and started writing lyrics when you were about 9.
Yeah.
What does somebody write about at 9?
Oh, many things.
Like what?
I think a 9-year-old's life is a very hard life.
Indeed.
And I think I was mainly writing about bullying and death.
Okay. Were bullying that you were just seeing around, or
at 9, bullying and death. I mean, to even understand those concepts, I mean, she's got it all. She's got the IQ of a genius.
Or personally, you were bullied?
A bit of both.
What were you bullied about?
But not in a horrible way. Just in the way I dressed. I dressed a bit differently.
And how did you dress? Because this is great.
Just like now.
Like now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, they're not very nice.
But I couldn't decide which skirt to wear, so I put on both.
Well, they go together. They definitely don't clash at all. Not in any way whatsoever. Do you remember the very first song that you ever wrote?
Yes. Yes. It was on a guitar, which I don't understand why it was on a guitar, because I can't play. But my biggest hero was Cohen and Bob Dylan, so I guess I wanted to be like them. I was 9. It was a song about, like, they can say what they want, but don't listen. Like a song like that about bullying, I think.
About bullying.
And I forgot it now. I don't think it was especially good.
Do you have a happiest musical memory?
It was very nice recently now in France. We had a show and the stage was very low. So I was almost kissing the audience as I was singing. And I brought them up on stage to dance on our last song. And it was very nice.
That sounds lovely.
It was lovely.
And where was it in France?
On stage.
In Paris.
Oh, beautiful.
Paris.
In a world of cookie cutter artists who all kind of look the same and sound the same, you are not one of those people.
But I love cookies.
Yeah, I also love. What's your favorite kind of cookie?
Completely derailed.
Cookies with oatmeal in them.
Okay.
Oatmeal.
You know, you speak with
and chocolate
magic
chip,
and childlike wonder, but also this kind of wisdom. I've heard you talk about wishes inside of apples and be distracted by raindrops on windows. Why are these kinds of things important, and how do they play into your day-to-day life?
I think, especially now, being so far from home, And being so busy, it's easy to forget a bit about yourself and the child I have inside my chest. And I think it just reminds me of how I was when I was younger, and it reminds me of myself. It's important to do things that reminds you of yourself, so you don't disappear and become invisible.
Yeah.
So
see right there, knowledge bomb immediately before oatmeal cookies. What did she say? I want to get her exact wording right.
I was when I was younger, and it reminds me of myself. It's important to do things that reminds you of yourself.
Yeah,
So
it's important to do things that remind you of yourself. It is so easy to get caught up in doing things that you're supposed to do or others want you to do or you think you want yourself to do, but really there's fundamental pieces that you can just add to your day to remind you of who you are. Don't just enter zombie mode every single day. And I'm guilty of entering zombie mode. And many of us are guilty. But snap back out of it and reframe. Who am I? How is what I'm doing right now serving who I am? Everything can be aligned with that identity. Anyways.
that reminds you of yourself, so you don't disappear and become invisible.
Yeah.
So I just like those things. It makes me feel magical, and that makes me feel happy.
I've never heard anybody talk about wishes inside of apples. Is that something that is... Did somebody else say that to you once, or did you just one day wake up and realize that there were, in fact, wishes inside of apples?
I think it was just something I said to a person once. Yes, I met Iggy Pop's bass player in Belgium, and I just said, good show. And I thought, okay, maybe 100 people have said that to him before. So I gave him an apple, and I said, it's a wish inside. And he said, oh, thank you. And since then I just like that idea. Yeah. And why not? Why can't there be a wish inside an apple or a little harp inside a fish?
Yeah. A harp inside a fish.
Anything can be possible if you believe.
And you do. And I feel like I believe more and more now that we talk. We asked the last artist that we had in to ask you a question.
Hey, we're Bob Moses, and our question for you is... Do you take your toilet paper over or under?
Over.
I'm not a psychopath. Of course it's on the... away from the wall.
So the front.
So that the cat can destroy it.
Why can't the cat destroy it from the back?
Because if it goes in the back, it only goes round and around. But if it's on the front, it will go down on the floor and create a huge white carpet for the cat to...
Okay, so your choice is totally based on cats.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. That's totally fine. The album is All My Demons Greeting Me as a Friend.
All My Dreams Greeting Me as a Friend.
That's better. That'll be the next one. That's my album. That'll be my EP coming out in January 2017. Upon thinking of this title, what was the image going on in your head? How does a demon greet you as a friend?
I just thought of myself, and hopefully this epiphany, greeting your demons as a friend, will come before you are on your deathbed. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, deathbed. And I was just
I wish there was a nicer word for it, but yeah.
Going to sleep forever bed.
Ooh, that's almost worse.
Eternal sleep bed.
Yeah, okay.
So I was just picturing myself on my last day on this earth, and I was picturing all my demons like bending over me, like they seem to be doing when you feel sad and afraid. And they just turned kind, and they just greeted me as like, oh, you've done so well. You've handled us so nice in your life. And it's a nice thing to greet your demons as friends, because it makes you so powerful, I think, because you realize how much you learn and how much you grow, and how natural part they are, and also how much they make you appreciate
making friends with the enemy, reconciling
and it's just such
the two sides of us.
Such a nice image, I think, having your demons like greet you as a friend and as a warrior and as a
Victor.
Sort of like befriending the darker parts of you, not just fully rejecting them, but understanding that every part of us is who we are. Every aspect. We don't have to outright reject pieces of us. We can actually work with the kaleidoscope of human that we are and shift between the gears. In one moment, it may make sense to have fear. In another, not so much. And you just oscillate and you feel what you feel in a given moment, and then we act accordingly. It makes sense the way she's framing it. I was thinking more of the demons being your friend in a way to get to you, because that friendship is tainted. But she actually flipped it. The friendship was tainted, but now they're extending the olive branch. Or maybe she's now more mature to view that relationship as something that can benefit her growth. I may be wrong about one of those things, but that's overall where I'm landing on.
Such a nice image, I think, having your demons like greet you as a friend and as a warrior and as a victor.
Victor.
Victorer.
A victorer.
Yes.
Yeah, 4 R's the end of that.
It just seems nice.
Now that you explain it, it's actually quite beautiful, really. Tell me a bit about the song Warrior.
Yes. Well, it began as my supporters asking me, what are we and what do you call us?
Okay. Like believers.
Yes.
Okay. That was the appropriate amount of shuddering that you just did there for that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It just I don't I didn't like the idea of them being Aurorians because they're not mine.
Although that sounds kind of cool.
And yes, true. But I didn't like the way making them sound like they needed
to you.
me.
Yeah, okay.
Because they don't need me.
Okay.
Or they need me a bit, but I need them as well.
Yes, you do.
Because I wouldn't be here without my fans.
Absolutely not.
So I just liked, and I think it's easy to forget how cool we are and how strong we are. So I just like the idea of having so many people calling themselves, I'm a warrior. So that's why I decided to call my fans for warriors, because it's a nice thing to make people call themselves.
Yeah.
And you should, whether you love my music or hate it. And the Warrior was a song for them, for us, to be a warrior of light in this strange world
filled with demons.
Filled with demons and darkness.
Do you have a favorite moment
thoughtful.
from the start to finish of the creating and the thinking and recording and producing of this album?
Sorry, I was having a sheep. I didn't.
What were you thinking about in that moment when I was asking that question?
I was thinking about your eyes. They're a bit green.
Thanks.
But they have like a different shade just on the slightly to
side?
the
Okay. Thanks. But besides my eyes, which we could easily talk about the entire interview, what was your favorite moment from recording this album? Whether it was writing or production or...
okay, yes, I see. I definitely enjoy writing the most, I think, because it makes me feel so nice. It's just this amazing feeling of being a bit useful and being like, I get so depressed when I can't create anything.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
So when I can, I get so happy, and it's always worth it, that up and down
writing is
roller
creation.
coaster of emotions. But it's just such a nice feeling. You feel like you've given birth to something. You're a mother of a song, and nobody can take that song away from you.
Yes.
And which was the hardest labor? I mean, if they're your kids, which was the hardest child to give birth to on this album?
Oh, I think giving birth to them is always easy, because you're in a strange bubble of making, of giving birth thing. But it's more about who is the most difficult to love as your own child.
Yeah.
And I think...
Oh, wow. That is not the direction I thought she was going to take that. who is the hardest to love, my assumption would have been she would love these songs not necessarily equally, but not have any disdain for any of her tracks. And I guess disdain wouldn't be even the right word here. Let's listen to her.
You know, of giving birth thing. But it's more about who is the most difficult to love as her own child. Yeah. And I think the more, like, it's a strange thing, because the more commercial my songs get, the more difficult it is to love them as my own special songs, because I know that they...
How much of her work is her creative input versus external hands changing her work? That I always assumed most aspects of what she did was her own. This I didn't know.
Because the more commercial my songs get, the more difficult it is to love them as my own special songs, because I know that they will always remind me of that music is an industry, not only a magical thing of emotions.
Yeah, sure.
But it's
the machine
also the songs
rather
I
than
think.
The connection.
And when I play them live, I appreciate them, because I see people singing along and people feeling things I did not feel when I don't know. It's a very strange a relationship.
Yeah, I bet.
But the more commercial it gets, the more difficult it is to be very proud of it. But still, it's nice because it brings people together. Also, these songs.
Yeah. I think you should be proud of all your songs, because the album is beautiful. It's
Thank
really,
you.
truly wonderful. Are you going to play some of those songs for us?
Today?
I know tonight you'll be playing, but within minutes.
Yes, within minutes.
Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you so much for chatting with me. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
You're a lovely human being.
Oh, thank you.
And I now cannot eat an apple ever again without thinking about what wish I'm biting into. But
very good.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ruined apples for me or made them special. I can't tell, but thank you either way for making them something. You can hear Aurora on Adult Alternative, Norse Rock and Pop, Norwegian's Freshest Hits, and the remixes on Dance Clubbing and Eclectic Electronic, and of course all over Stingray Music Vibes. Go download the app right now. Tune in next time, guys. Bye.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, she said so many interesting things. I hope I was able to comment on all of them in real time. But then the last thing she was talking about, this whole aspect of her music not feeling like her own as it becomes more commercialized, it is so interesting to hear her say that as well. It's a lot, it echoes a lot of what other artists feel, but sometimes when the goal is not for the music, rather it's for the fame, then the commercialized music helps get more attention and eyeballs, and then they can achieve their fame, which in my opinion is not a a goal you should be seeking. Fame is a byproduct of excellence. To be famous just to be famous, in my opinion, is very absent of value. It's kind of vapid. Is that the right word? Is that even a word? Let me look this up. Yeah, pretty much vapid. And so as she is creating her own music, the more it gets altered and tweaked for that reason rather than just for the art itself like Aurora wants, naturally it's not going to feel like her own baby. So I wonder which direction she's gone now. I've heard a lot of her early work. I've heard recently more of her modern day stuff. Which is the version of Aurora that she wants to be? It could be all of them. That's a very valid response as well, because of course you can change dynamically over time. But are we closer to who Aurora is with some of the newer stuff or older stuff? There's so many questions I have, but I'm going to leave it at that. So I hope y'all enjoyed the reaction today. I hope you all enjoyed listening along with me to these Aurora interviews. Very fun, very profound, and just more Aurora content. Anyways, I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.